Hi everybody, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small, and today is a pretty exciting day. Today, my Heavy Gear Kickstarter arrived in the mail. So before we dive into the box and do an unboxing, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this Kickstarter campaign. This was done by the DreamPod 9 guys, and I believe it was funded in November 20th, November 22nd, 2014. So here is their Kickstarter page, and I did the basic pledge of 115 Canadian, which came with a whole bunch of good stuff with a estimated delivery of November 2015. It is now September 1st and the box arrived, so they're not quite a year late, but still better than to Robotech Kickstarter, which I'm still waiting on Wave 2. And they shipped everything in one box. There's no multiple waves or anything like that. So not a very expensive Kickstarter. Heavy Gear Blitz, it's a starter set. But we're going to go ahead and open the box now. Alright, so here's what I received in the mail. Priority mail. I got a shipping notice from these guys on Sunday night, and it got here. Today is Thursday, September 1st, so it got here pretty quick from Canada. So priority mail, let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. All right, so let's get this all in frame. Here are the contents of the Kickstarter box. So I just got the basics. I didn't opt for any add-ons or anything like that. So let's take a look at what we got here. Heavy Gear Dreadnoughts, kickstarting fall 2016. Fleet scale miniatures, wargaming in the Heavy Gear universe. So great. I love fleet scale stuff. I love big ships, so I'm probably going to get in on this one. Looks pretty cool. Alright, so advertisement. Jovian Chronicles, fleet scale tabletop wargame beta rules now in development. So another blurb announcing a new edition of the game. And then Heavy Gear Blitz, another Kickstarter announcement 2017. Looks like more factions maybe. Now I gotta say up front, I have never played Heavy Gear. I bought into the Kickstarter solely on the strength of the cool looking models. I did, however, if you guys are old enough to remember the 1990s era Heavy Gear video games from Activision, I believe. If you remember those, go ahead and leave a comment. I remember those games quite fondly. But anyway, so I am familiar somewhat with the universe, but I've never played the tabletop version. We will rectify that, though, this week. So anyway, I've got a cool backer patch for 2014. Awesome. And then an awful lot of sprues. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, a really big bag, 5 with the bases, and then the rule book. So we'll take a rule book and then revisit those bags. All right, so this is the Heavy Gear Blitz rulebook. Looks pretty cool. It is nice and thick. A little damage. That may be me opening it, but so no big deal at all. So nice color picture on the front. At the back. Let's get this down. Point the camera. Okay. So just looking at it, here's a color rule book. lots of small wargaming text stuff we can, as wargamers, I'm sure we're all used to. So it's pretty interesting. The paper's not that thick compared to some of the other rule books. There you can see some of the photography work, painting guides. Always appreciate a good painting guide. And Battlefield. So cool. They do have color illustrations throughout. So the rule book is just cool. I mean, paper's thin. Imagine it's going to get beat up, but it's a gaming rule book. That's what you do. You beat it up and play your games. So that's pretty nice. All right, so what I haven't seen is an assembly guide, and I believe I've been following the forum on and off so I don't get my hopes crushed. I believe the assembly instructions are somewhere online, but we'll go ahead and open this bag and see what we got. So these are, looks like some kind of hover tank. I don't know if you guys can see that, how shiny it is. It does look nice. Good level of detail. Let's see if we can get. This is nice hard plastic too. So those are obviously some heavy tanks. And I'm not sure what all this is. These are all frames. I mean, there's an arm, a torso. I'm glad they're putting instructions on the website because it is a lot of parts. Now what's interesting is these look about the same size as the Robotech miniatures. So maybe once I start assembling a few, I'll compare them. I know Robotech was notorious among some Kickstarter folks as being very hard to assemble. I didn't have too much trouble with it, but I know some folks it drove people crazy. I don't know, those are little guys. They look like they're one piece. Those look cool. So these folks, looking at the rule book, CEF. All right, so looking in the rule book, this bag apparently contains CEF forces. So there are those little guys we just looked at. They have some cool looking mechs. There you go. So there's no, unfortunately, there's no contents listing. It's just bags of sprues, it looks like, unless there's one of these bags has a table of contents that I haven't caught yet. So let's put these guys back in their bag and check out some of the other ones. So this is a rather large bag. Lots of and a lot of these are different pieces. That's the same, two of the same frame. There's another one. So there are a lot of parts. Let's see if we can find one of the smaller frames for checking out the details. So this looks like maybe missile launchers, arms, weapons. Cool. All right. Here we have another smaller bag. weapons, legs, torsos. I love that these guys' feet have roller skates on them. Very cool stuff. All right, so we'll open up the last bag. That's the bag number 3. Okay. These guys look very cool. I'm looking forward to starting to get them assembled. That's the 4th and last bag of model sprues. I also had a bag of bases. It's like different size hex bases, round bases. Very cool. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find the packing list on the forum. All right, folks, I hopped back onto the Kickstarter page and I found a list of contents from their update number 72. So if any of you guys are Kickstarter backers for this project, that's where to look. Kickstarter update 72, and it has the core starter set contents. So we've got quick start rulebook, which we took a look at, the backer patch. The North Army has 4 hunters, 4 jaguars, 2 cheetahs, 2 grizzlies, and a Kodiak, 1 ferret, 3 drone, plastic sprue, and hex bases. South Army gets 4 Jaeger, 4 black mamba, 2 iguana, 2 spitting cobras, 1 king cobra. The CEF, which had those big looking hover tank we looked at, 2 F6-16. So these guys don't have cool names, they're just designations. It looks like we get 8 of some kind of units for the CEF. And then Caprice has 5 Accio mounts, 5 Mount A's, 5 Mount B's, 5 Ammon A plastic sprues. So I don't know what all that stuff is yet, but that is your content. So at least it gives you something to check to see if you've got everything. For example, I have no idea if I have everything in my Kickstarter that I'm supposed to have. The other thing I found was a link to the construction guide. So update number 74, the most recent one, has the assembly guide. So I've already downloaded it, and this is actually looks pretty cool. I just looked at it for a moment or two before turning on the camera. But it has how to assemble, what you need, all the parts. So this guy, and look at this guy, he's got a lot of gun options. What's that, 4 different gun options he can hold? Missiles on his shoulders, looks like different head options. So he's got quite a bit. So what's interesting is it looks like the legs are one piece. Not to pick on Robotech, but most of their models were 2 halves for each leg and 2 halves for each arm. This looks much more efficient. So this is a Southern Jaeger with different ways of doing it. Oh yeah, so that looks like a running leg. So you can have them in different poses. Very cool. And then a painting guide like what we saw in the rulebook itself. Basing guide. Northern and Southern weapon and special parts identifications with codes. So all of these things have rules. So it's going to be hard. I mean, I want to dive in and start assembling these models, but I have no idea what weapons requirements or squad requirements or weapon effectiveness is. I would just be gluing it based on what looks cool. I mean, can you have a whole squad with bazookas? Because I would like a squad with all bazookas. But who knows? I mean, maybe you can. Maybe it it's not good in games. Oh, here we go. So this is excellent. So it has a sprue breakdown. So it tells us exactly what the what you'll find on the sprues. So I'm definitely going to go through here, make sure I have everything, and let you guys know. But it's very cool that they have this online. So I recommend checking out those 2 updates on the Kickstarter if you have any questions on how to assemble this stuff, because this is pretty awesome. And then just to let you know what we have planned, this is the unboxing, so it's short and sweet. I do plan on doing an assembly, a painting, and hopefully a gameplay videos as well, so you can see those coming up. But there you have it. I mean, these things look really cool. I love the paint jobs they have here for their studio models. Just gorgeous. The neat thing about this Heavy Gear universe is it's kind of anime inspired, but it also has this kind of almost realistic feel to it. And these aren't big giant mechs like Robotech or Battletech. They are, but they're bigger than Power Armor. So they're kind of in between. I went through this big pile of plastic, and so far so good. Everything looks like it's there. I haven't made it through everything, but everything looks good. One thing I did want to point out though is that DreamPod 9 was very thoughtful. They do include a little designation here on the corner of the frame. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is a Jaeger frame. So you can tell by just the size of the legs and the arms that this is a tiny little guy. So there you go. That is the unboxing. Please feel free to leave your comments down below. Give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Check us out on YouTube. Thanks, and keep on wargaming.